Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Sports Universe. I'm Jack Osterloff, and I will be your host. We have a lot to get talking about today, so we're just going to jump right into it. The first point at task will be a World Series preview. Then after that, we will jump into an NBA's awards prediction and conference seedings, and my prediction for the NBA Finals. And lastly, I will give you my Week 8 picks for the NFL. So to begin, the World Series between the Dodgers and the Astros, two teams with over 100 wins, dominant regular seasons, offenses off the charts, great pitching by the likes of Verlander, Kershaw, Darvish, Keuchel, you name it, anything you want. So to compare the two teams, we'll start off with the Dodgers. The Dodgers over this postseason have a team batting average of .273. They average 5.3 runs a game, and they mostly manufacture their runs through the long ball. 3 coming from Justin Turner, including one last night, which would have been his 4th in the Dodgers' 3-1 win in Game 1 of the World Series. Kike Hernandez had 3 home runs, which all came in Game 5 against the Cubs. And Cody Bellinger has chipped in with 2. As well as Turner, Hernandez, and Bellinger, the Dodgers are loaded on offense with outfielder Chris Taylor, outfielder Yasiel Puig. They get Corey Seager back for the World Series after he missed the NLCS. Yasmani Grandal has taken some duties behind the plate. He adds a nice spark every once in a while with a gapper or an RBI. So to touch upon the Dodgers pitching, they've had a team ERA of 2.28, and they're led by Clayton Kershaw and Yu Darvish. Kershaw has a history of not having very great postseason stats, but in the regular season, he's considered one of the most dominant pitchers of all time. Darvish has a 1.59 ERA in 2 starts this postseason, which is one of the tops among baseball. They average only 2.1 runs per game, and they hold their opponents to a 1.69 batting average, which is top in the NL during the postseason. To give a quick X-Factor point of view, I believe that the Dodgers' X-Factor is going to be, as an individual, Yasiel Puig. He brings the Dodgers' energy and the spark on offense and defensive side. The Dodgers' chances of winning are significantly increased when he is at his best. Not only does he hype and get energy for himself to perform the way he should, he as well gets his teammates and the crowd involved, and I've never seen anything like it. The dude bat flips on singles, he slides into third on a triple and starts waving his tongue. He's a character, and it's great for the MLB. As a team goal, the Dodgers don't really have many negative aspects to their team, so picking out a team goal is extremely hard. So if I were to break it down, I would have to say they need to limit their walks, limit their mental errors. Houston is a team who's going to take advantage of your mistakes, as you saw in the ALCS against the Yankees. A 2-out walk for them by the likes of Correa, Altuve, Springer could eventually turn into a stolen base to second, and from that stolen base they will get the timely hit and knock in the RBI. That could be the difference in the game. So if the Dodgers are able to limit their walks and not give out any free passes and are able to play sound baseball, they should have no problem handling the series. On the Astros side, they had a team batting average of .247 throughout the postseason so far, but it's a very big difference between the ALDS, which they played against Boston, and the ALCS, which they played against New York. In the ALCS against Boston, they hit an average of .333, which is unheard of for the playoffs. They were peppering the ball all over the field, hitting gaps, hitting the ball over the fence. They could basically do whatever they want on the offensive end. But against the Yankees, they only hit .187 and were shut down by the likes of Masahiro Tanaka, Luis Severino, and CC Sabathia. So they are able to manufacture their runs in the ALDS by hitting the long ball, hitting doubles, scoring, good base running. They were an offensive powerhouse. Against the Yankees, they had to play a little more small ball, a little bit what they used to do when they weren't as good. They would get a single, they'd steal second base, they'd bunt a guy over, he would move over on a ground ball to second. Productive outs is what I would call it. And then their pitching was just so dominant at home that they were able to just squeak by against the Yankees in Game 7. On their pitching end, which I just mentioned was dominant against the Yankees at home, they had a team ERA of 3.79. They allowed 3.63 runs per game, and they held their opponents to a .236 batting average. An individual X factor, I would have to say, for the World Series on Houston's end would have to be George Springer and Marwin Gonzalez. Both hitters are fantastic. They were dominant in the ALDS against the Red Sox, both of them hitting over 400 with RBIs, runs scored, average, anything you name it, home runs. But against the ALCS, it was like they disappeared. You don't know where they went. Springer didn't get his first hit until the 5th game of the series. Gonzalez was 2 for 25. They just weren't themselves. So if the Astros can get both their players to hit over 285 at 20-plus homers and 85-plus RBIs during the regular season, it's going to definitely bolster their offense and be able to put them in a better position to win. The team X factor has to be they have to win on the road. They have to. Like, if they want to have a chance in the series, they need to get a win on the road. They didn't show the ability to do so in New York, as they got swept for three straight games, games 3, 4, and 5, which at the moment gave the Yankees a 3-2 lead and honestly looked like the Astros would be done. They split in Boston and won a close Game 4 in Boston to end the series. They had to bring Justin Verlander out of the bullpen to win the game. Actually, Justin Verlander led up a 2-run home run to Andrew Benintendi, which at the time gave the Red Sox the lead and it looked like it was going to a Game 5. But their splits on home and away are tremendous. At home, they hit 276. Away, they hit 213. At home, they generate 30 RBIs. On the road, they only generated 11. So if they can somehow figure it out and able to contribute on the away end of things, they're going to be in good shape. If anybody watched Game 1, which was last night, the Dodgers won 3-1, like I had said earlier. Dallas Keuchel and Clayton Kershaw were in an absolute pitcher's duel. It was fantastic to watch, to see. Honestly, a great baseball game if you're in love with the sport, as I am. The Dodgers were able to get their runs on the leadoff home run from Chris Taylor in the first, which gave them out to a 1-0 lead. And in the 4th inning, Alex Bregman tied the game with a solo shot to left. The game would have remained scoreless until the 6th inning, as Justin Turner took an 87-mile-an-hour cutter from Dallas Keuchel over the left field wall for a 2-run home run, and that was all Clayton Kershaw and the Dodgers bullpen would need to secure the Game 1 victory in Los Angeles. Actually, funny story about Justin Turner's home run was his first 2 at-bats, he struck out in the first and he popped at the third base. He was using a 33.5-inch bat when he hit the home run, and he was using a 34.5-inch bat when he struck out and popped up. So his post-game press conference, he was able to pinpoint the reason why he was so successful in his third at-bat against Keuchel rather than why he was so unsuccessful in his first 2. He credited it to the whole inch and whole ounce difference was able for him to get his hands inside the pitch, and he was able to drive it out to left field. And the humidity and heat at the stadium last night definitely played a factor into the ball traveling so far. But it was still an awesome play. He's amazing in the playoffs. You got to tip his cap to him. He went from being on the Mets to nobody. They basically just gave him up for free, and he's blossomed into a star with the Dodgers at third base. And you gotta love his hair and facial hair. Like no one's got it like him. I mean, maybe other than Charlie Blackmon, but he's unbelievable. On the Astros side for last night, Dallas Keuchel like I said before, looked very, very, very strong. He he threw 6 or 7 innings and was a very big factor in what they wanted to do. Him and Kershaw combined to pitch a 2-hour, 28-minute game, which is a record for the postseason. I don't think we'll ever see anything like it again. So the Dodgers were able to take Game 1, and Game 2 will be tonight on Fox. So tune into that to see if the Astros can tie up the series. So after seeing, I wrote my prediction before Game 1. So my prediction is I'm going to expect, like I had said before, the home team to dominate the series. And I expect the Dodgers to win in 6 games. Their series will be decided by who can manufacture the most runs. And by this, I mean who can play the best baseball. Who makes the least amount of errors. Who has the timely hits. Who lets hitters put the ball in play rather than handing them free passes and free bases whenever they want. And whoever can honestly play the smarter game. It's honestly, managers play a big part in this as well. Dave Roberts and AJ Hinch are both outstanding managers, and it's going to come down to when you take out Kershaw, when you take out Keuchel, when you go to the bullpen. Is it time to make a switch? Like the little things that the average fans don't see really mean a lot when it comes time to crunch time decisions and deciding series. So I'm going to take the Dodgers in 6. It's going to be a hard-fought series. I think it'll be back and forth. I'm going to predict that the Astros take Game 2 tonight with Justin Verlander on the bump. He has been electric since he's joined the Astros about a month and a half ago at the end of August. He's 9-0, including regular season and postseason. So I expect them to... There's something about the Astros when they play behind Verlander. It's just they swing the bat better, they field better, they have a different attitude. I wish they would have it when anybody pitched, because they'd be the most exciting team in baseball. But my World Series MVP, I'm gonna go with Clayton Kershaw. Kershaw was dominant last night, and I think he will be dominant in his next start. Or maybe if they play him on short rest in Game 7, I don't think they will. They have Darvish and Rich Hill, 2 reliable starters they could throw out there in Game 7 if needed. But I think it's going to go 6, and I think that Kershaw will come out of the bullpen, give them some innings in Game 6, and will honestly propel them to victory. And this World Series and this MVP will cement his legacy among some of the MLB's greatest pitchers of all time. It seems like anytime you have Clayton Kershaw, you have the chance to win. Anytime in the regular season, I'd say that. Anytime you have Clayton Kershaw on the bump, you have a shot. But past history has said anytime you have Clayton Kershaw on the hill in playoff time, you never know. I think that he has put the doubters to sleep this postseason. He has been electric. He has been dominant. He has showed people why he is the greatest pitcher in the game, why he should be NL Cy Young this year, why he, in my opinion, should get consideration for NL MVP as much as Giancarlo Stanton has had an outstanding season. You don't just get a guy like Kershaw every day. He's a once-in-a-blue-moon player, once in a decade, once in a century. He's unbelievable. So that about concludes my World Series prediction. Once October time rolls around and baseball starts to end, that's when you start looking forward to the next season, which is basketball. So stay with us, and I'll let you know who I think is going to be the cream of the crop this year in the NBA.
Make your computer cancel.